for most of my life I was self-employed. The job I have now is my very first salaried job. So pretty much from the age of 18 was when I started my first company, and I was self-employed right up until just recently. So I was working on contract for big companies though, and I had a chance to see inside lots of different companies. So working with banks, investment firms, hospitals, high-tech companies, low-tech companies, everything from factories to machine shops, everything. And what I've noticed is that in large companies, generally you just have a lot more bureaucracy. So there's more rules. Things take longer to happen. If you have an idea, it's going to take a long time for that idea to get passed. It has to go through lots of levels of approval. Budgets have to be signed off by a lot of different people. But the advantage of being with a large organization is having large budgets. So when you have a really big budget and you have an idea, for instance, I used to do all of the internal training for FutureShop. So I had 2,200 employees across the country, 88 stores, and it was my job that whenever there were changes in the company, new policies, it was my job to train everybody on those things. And they had a really big budget, so if I wanted to, we had to do health and workplace safety training. So I had to train everybody, 2,200 people across the country, on everything on safety. So I thought, well, let's make an interactive DVD movie. And sure, let's do it. So I had, I had camera crew, I had lighting people, I had actors, I had, and it was so much fun doing things like, I remember shooting we were on the North Shore, in the FutureShop in the North Shore, shooting all of the scenes for what to do in a robbery. And one of the camera crew had a really hot sports car, so he wanted to use his car as a getaway car because he got to peel out in the parking lot. And we also couldn't find a realistic looking gun. We had these toy guns that looked really fake. So in the end, I had to play the robber, and I had a ski mask over my face, and I just had my hand in my pocket like this. It was really ridiculous, but that's the fun. The fun of it is getting to have really, really big budgets and do really large projects with big companies. With smaller companies, the nice thing is much greater sense of family in a little company. So the company I'm working with now is just 66 people. So everybody knows everybody. And the neat thing about a small company is that if someone has a neat idea, you can implement that idea immediately. The company can just turn on a dime. If something changes, or somebody wakes up one day and says, hey, I've got this great idea. In the company I work for, we've got a lot of people who work with encryption. So maybe somebody wakes up one day and says, I just came up with this amazing encryption algorithm. I want to try it out in the software. We can do that right away. We can try it. So small companies are much more adaptive and a much greater sense of, I guess, family. But you don't have quite the budgets that you do in big companies. So they both have advantages, I guess.